Last session we discussed about interior of right atrium. In this session we will try to discuss about interior of remaining chambers. For that, as usual, we have to take diagram of heart. So this is right atrium with auricle. Then this is inferior border. Here you can see one incision. What is this incision? Incisura apicis cordis, and here apex of heart. This is apex of heart, and here you can find one more ear like projection. What is this? Auricle, right? Then from here to here you can observe one sulcus. That sulcus what we call anterior interventricular sulcus. This anterior interventricular sulcus represents the anterior attachment of interventricular septum. Clear? Then here superior vena cava opening, here inferior vena cava opening, then this is aorta. Which aorta? Arch of aorta with its branches. What are these branches? Brachiocephalic, left common carotid and left subclavian. Is it? So this is arch of aorta and its branches. Then below this you can observe bifurcation of pulmonary trunk. Bifurcation of pulmonary trunk. This is pulmonary trunk. This pulmonary trunk bifurcated into right and left branches. These branches enters into corresponding lungs. Is it? So this is pulmonary trunk and its branches. So this is the structure of heart. We have already studied about interior of right atrium. Now we will study about interior of right ventricle. To see the interior of right ventricle, we have to make incision along this line and along this line, then at the upper part. What does it mean? We have to make incision along the right anterior part of atrioventricular sulcus. This is atrioventricular sulcus. Along this sulcus we have to make one incision. Then just right to the anterior interventricular sulcus. This is anterior interventricular sulcus. Along with that you have to make one more incision. Then one transverse incision at the upper part of infundibulum, so that you can reflect this anterior wall of right ventricle down. Is it? So now I am reflecting this part down. This is reflected part. Once you reflect this part, you can see interior, right? In this interior you can observe mainly two areas. One is rough inflowing part and another is smooth outflowing part. Rough inflowing part made up of so many ridges, bridges and pillars. Smooth outflowing part, it is very smooth, no muscular ridges. These two parts developmentally also different origin. If you take rough inflowing part, it is developmentally derived from the ventricle proper. That means right part of ventricle proper. And the smooth outflowing part, it is embryologically derived from the bulbus cordis. These two parts separated by one crest. What is this crest? This crest what we call supraventricular crest. This supraventricular crest is embryological remnant of bulboventricular ridge. bulboventricular ridge. All these are MCQs. Very simple. Rough inflowing part developmentally derived from ventricle proper. That means right part of ventricle proper. Then smooth outflowing part developmentally derived from the bulbus cordis, and supraventricular crest, which divides the rough inflowing part and smooth outflowing part, it is embryologically derived from the bulboventricular ridge. Right? Then along with these two structures, you can observe leaflets, chorda tendineae and papillary muscles. That means you can observe atrioventricular orifice and its wall. That wall what we call tricuspid wall. Is it? Because it contains 3 leaflets. Clear? So if you want to discuss interior of ventricle, you have to discuss about atrioventricular orifice complex, that means atrioventricular wall, then rough inflowing part, smooth outflowing part. We can also call as inflow tract, outflow tract. Clear? So first we will discuss about atrioventricular orifice. This atrioventricular orifice contains wall. That wall what we call tricuspid valve complex. Tricuspid valve complex. This complex made up of different parts. We will discuss one by one so that it will be very easy. First, this is what? Atrioventricular valve complex. Atrioventricular valve complex. In this, there will be different parts. What are those? First one is atrioventricular orifice, AV orifice. Second one is tricuspid annulus. Tricuspid annulus. Then leaflets. Leaflets. Then chorda tendineae. Chorda tendineae. Then papillary muscles. Papillary muscles. So all these structures together what we call atrioventricular valve complex or tricuspid valve complex. Right? First we will take the atrioventricular orifice. Here there will be a communication between the atrium and ventricle, right atrium and right ventricle. This communication what we call atrioventricular orifice. This atrioventricular orifice is around 10 to 12 centimeters in circumference, which communicates the right atrium to right ventricle. Clear? That's it about the atrioventricular orifice. That means it's the opening. Clear? This opening attached by, that means margins of this opening, just imagine this is opening, this margins of this opening attached by one collagenous ring. That collagenous ring what we call annulus. What is that annulus? Tricuspid annulus. So there will be annulus like this. This is annulus. What is this annulus? Collagenous ring. Collagenous ring. This ring contains anterior and posterior rims. What are these? Anterior rim and posterior rim. These rims in the inferior part connected by intersulcal connective tissue. What is that? Intersulcal connective tissue. So these collagenous rims what we call phyla coronaria. Phyla coronaria. Phyla coronaria. Clear? Very simple. Along the margins of atrioventricular orifice, there will be attachment of one fibrous ring. That fibrous ring made up of collagen tissue. That ring what we call annulus, which contains anterior rim and posterior rim. These rings what we call phyla coronaria. Clear? Then next one is leaflets. Leaflets means what? Cusps. There will be 3 cusps which are present in the tricuspid wall, because it is tri means 3. Clear? This is anterior cusp, and here is the septal cusp, and here posterior cusp. This posterior cusp present almost horizontally, because it is present here and it is attaching to the inferior margin, so that it will be like this. This posterior cusp is present almost horizontally. Clear? This atrioventricular orifice present almost vertically. See this, it is present almost vertically. If you make angle between the atrioventricular orifice and the sagittal plane, is it? This is the sagittal plane and this is atrioventricular orifice. What will be the angle between these two? It is around 45 degrees. So if you make angle between the sagittal plane and atrioventricular orifice, it will be around 45 degrees. Right? Then what you have seen here? Annulus. Then leaflets. How many leaflets? 3 leaflets. These leaflets are reduplication of endocardium with central core of fibrous tissue. That fibrous tissue what we call lamina fibrosa. Lamina fibrosa. What does it mean? There will be central core of lamina fibrosa surrounded by endocardium. Clear? This fibrous tissue, that means that lamina fibrosa continues with the collagenous ring, because both are connected tissues. That's what these two will be connected together. So lamina fibrosa of leaflets continues with the collagenous ring. Clear? That is about leaflets. 3 leaflets are there. Anterior leaflet present anteriorly, posterior leaflet present almost posteriorly and inferiorly. Septal leaflet, it is present towards the interventricular septum. Clear? Then chorda tendineae. Before chorda tendineae, we will discuss about papillary muscles, so that we will get one idea how these chorda tendineae will be attached. Clear? First, if you take papillary muscles, there will be 3 papillary muscles in case of right side. One is anterior papillary muscle. This is anterior papillary muscle. This is posterior papillary muscle, and here septal papillary muscles. Anterior papillary muscle attaches to the sternocostal surface. That means inner surface of sternocostal surface. Clear? Then posterior papillary muscles attaches to diaphragmatic surface. What does it mean? Inner surface of diaphragmatic surface. Then septal papillary muscles, they are small nipple like projections. These nipple like projections what we call septal papillary muscles. Right? Now you know what are the different papillary muscles: anterior papillary muscle, posterior papillary muscle and septal papillary muscles. This anterior papillary muscle attaches to sternocostal surface near the septum. All of you must be aware of it. Here there will be septum. What is the septum? This separates the right ventricle from the left ventricle. So what is the septum? Interventricular septum. Near the anterior interventricular septum and to the sternocostal surface, there will be attachment of anterior papillary muscle. Clear? So that is about papillary muscles. Now we will see chorda tendineae. What is chorda tendineae? Chorda tendineae is nothing but endocardium lining collagen threads. Endocardium lining, collagen threads, what we call chorda tendineae. They are like threads. These threads are covered by endocardium. Clear? Those are connecting the papillary muscles to the leaflets. So, if you see the chorda tendineae which are attaching to the papillary muscles, they connects anterior papillary muscle to the anterior leaflet and also anterior papillary muscle to the posterior leaflet. Then chorda tendineae from the posterior papillary muscles connects posterior leaflets and also septal leaflet. Then chorda tendineae from the septal papillary muscles attaches to septal leaflet and also anterior leaflet. Why I am stressing this? Most of the students thinking that chorda tendineae from the anterior papillary muscles, they connect only to anterior leaflet, and chorda tendineae from the posterior papillary muscles connect only to posterior leaflet. Chorda tendineae from the septal papillary muscles connects only septal leaflet. It is not like that. Let me explain one more time. Chorda tendineae from the anterior papillary muscles connects anterior leaflet and also posterior leaflet. Chorda tendineae from the posterior papillary muscles connects posterior leaflet and also septal leaflet. Chorda tendineae from the septal papillary muscles connects septal leaflet and also anterior leaflet. Clear? It is like a circle. Clear? So, this is about atrioventricular valve complex. All these structures together called as atrioventricular valve complex. Clear? This is sufficient for the examination purpose to UG students. But for the PG students and who are preparing for the competitive examinations, this is not sufficient. We need to learn more. Let's learn about it. I am taking the section of this annulus and I am stretching so that I can draw this annulus horizontally along with attachment of leaflets, chorda tendineae and papillary muscles. Is it okay? So, this is the annulus. This is annulus. It is made up of collagen tissue, that you know already. Then to this annulus there will be attachment of leaflets. This is posterior leaflet and here septal leaflet and here anterior leaflet. Posterior leaflet, septal leaflet and anterior leaflet. If you observe posterior leaflet, you can see two indentations into it. These indentations what we call clefts. Because of these clefts, posterior leaflet divides into three scallops. 1, 2, 3. Three scallops. Right? So, because of two clefts or two indentations, posterior leaflet divides into three scallops. Right? Then, here below this what will be there? Papillary muscles. Actually, chorda tendineae, first we will see the papillary muscles. Here, papillary muscles. This is posterior papillary muscle and this is septal papillary muscle and this is anterior papillary muscle. Clear? Then if you observe carefully, these leaflets having different zones. What are those? Towards the free margin, there will be rough zone. So this zone what we call rough zone, to which there will be attachment of chorda tendineae. This is a rough zone. Next to the rough zone, here, this zone what we call smooth zone or clear zone. Smooth zone or clear zone. Then towards the attachment, thick and vascular zone will be there. This thick and vascular zone, what we call basal zone. What is it? Thick and vascular zone. This thick and vascular zone, what we call basal zone. This is basal zone. So, which contains blood vessels to supply the basal zone. Is it? That's what we are calling. It is a vascular zone. Then what about this clear zone and rough zone? From where they will get the blood supply? For basal zone, there is a blood supply because it is vascular thick zone. But this clear zone and rough zone takes the nutrition from the blood which is present within the heart. Is it? So, blood supply of basal zone having separate blood supply, that means it's vascular zone, but these two zones not having special blood supply, they takes nutrition from the blood which is present within the heart itself. Clear? Then these leaflets connected by commissures. See here, this is posterior leaflet and this is septal leaflet. Here there is connecting part is there, no? This connecting part what we call commissure. So here one commissure, here one commissure and here one commissure. Is it? So the junction between the or commissure between the posterior leaflet and septal leaflet. This commissure what we call posteroseptal commissure, and commissure between the septal leaflet and anterior leaflet what we call anteroseptal commissure. Anteroseptal commissure. Then in between the posterior leaflet and anterior leaflet what we call anteroposterior commissure. Clear? So that is about leaflets. Now we will discuss about chorda tendineae. Chorda tendineae means collagen threads. These collagen threads are covered by endocardium. Simply, endocardium covered collagen threads, what we call chorda tendineae. These chorda tendineae connects papillary muscles to the leaflets. These chorda, what we call true chorda. Why I am telling this? Some false chorda also there. These false chorda, they will not connect to the leaflets. They connect one wall of the ventricle to another wall of the ventricle. Clear? So these chorda what we call false chorda. True chorda means they connect to the leaflets. Clear? This true chorda further divides into different types according to their attachment. What are those? First, if you take some chorda attaches to the commissure. See here, these chorda attaching to the commissure from the papillary muscles to the commissure. These chorda what we call commissural chorda. Commissural chorda. Then some of the chorda attaches to clefts. See here, clefts are there. So they are attaching to the clefts. These chorda what we call cleft chorda. These commissural chorda and cleft chorda, when they are attaching, they divides into fan-wise strands and they attaches. Right? Then some chorda connecting the papillary muscles to the free margin. What is this? Free margin of leaflet. So these chorda what we call free chorda. Right? Then some of the chorda connecting the papillary muscles to the leaflets. First they attaches to free margin, then they passes through the substance of the leaflet and attaches at the junction of clear zone and rough zone. Clear zone and rough zone. That means here. These carda, what we call deep carda, because they are going deep. Then another carda, rough zone carda. Rough zone carda. These rough zone carda, when they are attaching to the leaflets, they are dividing into 3 strands. What are these? 3 strands. One strand attaches to free margin. Another strand attaches to junction between the clear zone and rough zone. Junction between the clear zone and rough zone. And third strand attaches in between these 2 strands. That means here. Clear? So these are the rough zone carda. Very simple. Rough zone carda connects to the rough zone. They divides into 3 strands when they are attaching. One strand attaches to the free margin. Another strand attaches to junction between the clear zone and rough zone. And third strand attaches in between the first and second strand. Clear? Then some other carda also there. These carda, they connects wall of the ventricle. Just imagine this is the wall of the ventricle. This is wall of the ventricle. From the wall of the ventricle to the basal zone of leaflet. From the walls of the ventricle to the basal zone of the leaflets. These carda, what we call basal carda. Clear? So these are the different carda. So totally we discussed atrioventricular valve complex in detail. Clear? Then how will it works? What is the mechanism of closure and opening of atrioventricular valve complex? Right? See, during systole there will be contraction of these ventricular muscles and also papillary muscles, so that these carda tendineae will pushes the leaflets up, so that these leaflets will tightly oppose with one another, so that this valve will be closed. And during diastole, these muscles will be relaxed, so that these leaflets will be pulled down by the carda tendineae, so that this orifice will be open. Clear? But most of the students thinking that when the papillary muscles contract, these carda tendineae will push the leaflets, so that atrioventricular orifice will be open. Is it? But why they are thinking like that? Because papillary muscle is down and the carda tendineae is connecting here. When it contracts, this carda tendineae has to pull down. Is it? But if you observe carefully, the concept is different. If you observe the papillary muscles, these muscles are loop-like muscles. These muscles are loop-like muscles. See here, these are like this. These are loop-like muscles. When they contract, they will be contracting like this. When they contract, this apical part of these papillary muscles pushes up. Is it? So this apical part will pushes up, so that the carda tendineae which are connecting here, they will be pushes the leaflets up, so that valve will be closed. I hope you understood. Let me repeat it once again. During ventricular contraction, atrial surface of, there will be 2 surfaces, I already told you. One surface which is present towards the atrium, that surface is atrial surface, and another surface which is present towards the ventricle, that surface what we call ventricular surface. these atrial surfaces oppose tightly with one another so that this valve will be closed during the ventricular systole. Clear? Then when it closed, how it will be looks like? Imagine you are seeing from the above when it is closed. This is the orifice, and here is the septal leaflet, here is the anterior leaflet, here is posterior leaflet. So when it closed, it looks like triradiate. It is triradiate in appearance when it closed, right? So that's it about the atrioventricular valve complex structure and function. Then we will discuss about interior of ventricle. It is having rough inflowing part, smooth outflowing part. Rough inflowing part made up of so many ridges and pillars. Clear? What are the ridges? What are the bridges? What are the pillars? We will see one by one. First, if you take the ridges means linear elevations, linear muscular elevations, what we call ridges. The worth mentioning ridge is this one, supraventricular crest. This supraventricular crest is embryological remnant of bulboventricular ridge. Clear? And what is the importance of it? It separates the rough inflowing part from the smooth outflowing part, and it is separating the structures which are developmentally different origin, right? So that is about ridges. So many ridges will be there. This is only worth mentioning. Then bridges means they connect one wall to another wall. That means they connect one part of the ventricle to another part of ventricle, with intervening part is free. See here, it will connect from here to here, and this intervening part will be free. The worth mentioning bridge is this one. What is this? This is the bridge which connects the interventricular septum to the anterior papillary muscle. This bridge, what we call septomarginal band. What is it? Septomarginal band. This septomarginal band believed to be prevents the over distension of ventricle. That's what this septomarginal band we can also call as moderator band. What is it? Moderator band. Then it is having one more importance, which contains right bundle of His. Clear? So that's it about the bridges. Then pillars. Pillars we have already studied. Pillars means papillary muscles. They are conical muscular projections, what we call papillary muscles. These are 3 in number in case of right side. Of course, in case of left side, 2 in number. These are anterior papillary muscles, posterior papillary muscles, and septal papillary muscles in case of right side. In case of left side, only anterior and posterior papillary muscles will be present. Clear? This inflow tract is very rough because of muscular ridges, bridges and pillars. Because of that only, when the blood passing through the rough zone, the velocity of the flow will be reduced, because so many obstructions will be there. But when the blood is passing through the smooth outflowing part or outflow tract, the velocity of the flow will be more or increased, because no obstructions, it is very smooth. Clear? So that is about rough inflow part. Then smooth outflowing part. This is smooth outflowing part. This smooth outflowing part present above the supraventricular crest and septomarginal band. That means this part is smooth outflowing part. This smooth outflowing part continues as a infundibulum of right ventricle, and this infundibulum continues as a pulmonary trunk. That means the smooth outflowing part in the upper part It contains conical shaped part of the ventricle. This conical shaped part what we call infundibulum. Clear? Then this infundibulum continues as a pulmonary trunk. So when we cut here, you can see the pulmonary trunk origin also. Here this is pulmonary trunk origin, and at the origin point you can found one wall. This wall what we call semilunar wall. This wall what we call semilunar wall, because which contains semilunar cusps. In case of pulmonary trunk, we can observe 3 cusps. What are these? 2 anterior cusps and 1 posterior cusp. 2 anterior cusps and 1 posterior cusp. Clear? To explain about the semilunar valve, I am making the section here and I am stretching, so that you can see all these leaflets in the horizontal plane for our explanation. Is it okay? This is the wall of the pulmonary trunk, right? To this wall there will be attachment of 3 cusps. This is 1, 2, 3. Is it? Then each cusp contains central fibrous nodule. Central fibrous nodule. This is fibrous nodule. On either side of the fibrous nodule, you can found half moon shaped fold. This half moon shaped fold what we call lunules. Lunules. So this is nodule and these are lunules. Clear? So this is the structure of semilunar valve. This semilunar valve will be open during systole and closed during diastole. Right? When they closed, it will be looking like triradiate in appearance. Triradiate in appearance. Triradiate in appearance. When they open, that means during systole, these valves will open. At that time, it is triangular in appearance. So this opening will be triangular during systole. Through this opening, blood will be ejected. Clear? So that is about structure of semilunar valve. Then just above these valves, you can found small dilatation just above the wall. This dilatation what we call sinus, pulmonary sinus. During systole, blood will eject through this orifice. During diastole, some of the blood will regurgitate and pooled over here. Why it is pooling here? Because these valves are closed. Is it okay? Then we will discuss about interior of left atrium and also left ventricle. That is very easy. We will complete within 10 minutes. For that, we need to take diagram of posterior view of heart. This is which atrium? Left atrium with opening of 4 pulmonary veins. Right side 2, left side 2. And here you can observe pulmonary arteries. That means bifurcation of pulmonary trunk. These are pulmonary arteries. And here you can see aorta. What is this? Arch of aorta. So here arch of aorta. Of course we can draw branches also. You know the branches of it. Then here you can see small portion of auricle. Which auricle? Left auricle. And here superior vena cava. This is right atrium and this is inferior vena cava. Is it? Then this is the posterior view of heart. You can see one sulcus here. What is the sulcus? Posterior interventricular sulcus, and this is incisura epicis cordis. So that is the posterior view of heart. If you want to see the interior of left atrium, we have to make incision like this, like inverted U shape, so that you can reflect this part down and you can see the interior. If you observe the interior of left atrium, it is smooth throughout the structure except auricle. In this auricle you can see some muscular pectinata. Because of that it is rough appearance. Why? It is embryologically derived from the atrium proper. This auricle is embryologically derived from the atrium proper, and the remaining smooth part, it is embryologically derived from the absorbed part of pulmonary veins. Clear? Then in this left atrium, worth mentioning point is one structure is there. That structure what we call fossa lunata. In case of right side we have seen one fossa. What is that fossa? Fossa ovalis. Is it? This fossa ovalis projected towards the right side and it is margined by limbus fossa ovalis, and if you see the left side we can observe half moon shaped depression. That half moon shaped depression what we call fossa lunata. Fossa lunata. That's it. And one important applied anatomy here. This is the potential site for the trapping of blood clots. Clear? If they dislodge from here, these clots they traveled through the blood vessels and they trap within the systemic circulation, which leads to systemic embolism, like cerebral embolism, renal embolism. Clear? So that is about the left atrium. Now we will discuss about left ventricle. This left ventricular thickness is more than the right ventricular thickness. Why? If you observe right ventricular thickness, it is around 3 to 5 millimeters. But if you see the left ventricular thickness, it is around 8 to 12 millimeters. Why? Right ventricle, after all, it has to pump to the lungs. It has to pump the blood to the lungs. That lungs are very nearer to the heart. No need to work much. But left heart has to pump blood throughout the body. So it has to work more. When it works more, what will happen? Muscular hypertrophy. Muscular hypertrophy. Actually, when we work more, our muscle bulk will increase. Is it? In the same manner, this left ventricle will work more, so that the left ventricular thickness will be more. That means left ventricular wall thickness. Left ventricular wall thickness will be more. So right ventricular wall thickness is 3 to 5 millimeters, and left ventricular wall thickness is 8 to 12 millimeters, and the ratio will be 1:3. Ratio of thickness will be 1:3. Clear? Then see here, from here blood has to enter into left ventricle through the valve. Which valve is this? Mitral valve or bicuspid valve. Clear? So there also there will be atrioventricular valve complex. Structure will be similar, but some variations are there. That variations I will tell you. So there is also orifice is there. So here orifice. Which orifice is this? Atrioventricular orifice. In case of right side it is how much? 10 to 12. But here it is only 8 centimeters circumference. It permits only 2 fingers into it. But in case of right side it permits 3 fingers into it. Clear? Then that atrioventricular orifice attached by annulus. So here also it is attached by annulus. Clear? Then annulus gives attachment to the leaflets. So here also it gives attachment to the leaflets. Clear? How many leaflets? 2 leaflets, anterior leaflet and posterior leaflet. Then what are there? Chorda tendineae. Before that chorda tendineae we will see the papillary muscles. Papillary muscles 2 in number. Anterior papillary muscle present in the sternocostal surface. Then posterior papillary muscle present in the diaphragmatic surface. From the papillary muscles there will be chorda tendineae connecting the leaflets. Chorda tendineae from the anterior papillary muscle attaches to both anterior and posterior leaflet, and the chorda tendineae from the posterior papillary muscle also connects both anterior and posterior leaflets. Clear? So that orifice or that wall, what we call mitral wall. Why we are calling it as mitral? It is looking like mitre. What is mitre? Let me draw one diagram so that you can understand. I hope you must be aware of it. Mitre. Christian peoples must be aware of it. Okay, let me draw the structure of mitre. Are you able to guess? Yes, this is the mitre. Bishops used to put on their heads. This what we call mitre. This mitre having, there will be anterior leaflet like structure will be there, posterior leaflet like structure will be there. In between that gap will be there, within that gap head will be present. Is it? So this structure and this structure is looking similar. That's what that wall, what we call mitral wall. Clear? So it is looking like bishop's mitre. That's what that wall, what we call mitral wall. Clear? So that is about the valve complex. Then in case of left side also there will be 2 structures are there, rough inflowing part and smooth outflowing part. Rough inflowing part made up of so many muscular ridges, bridges and pillars. Okay, same as it is structure like this. Then outflowing part is smooth. This outflowing part, where it will outflow into the aorta. Clear? So here there will be origin of aortic orifice. Here aortic orifice. This is aortic orifice. This aortic orifice also having semilunar valves, but the difference is here anteriorly 2 leaflets, posteriorly 1 leaflet. But in case of aorta, anteriorly 1 leaflet, posteriorly 2 leaflets. So that is only difference. Anteriorly 1 leaflet, anteriorly 1 leaflet, posteriorly 2 leaflets. Clear? Then structure is similar, and structure will be like this here, and above the aortic orifice, that means above the semilunar valve, you can find dilatation here. This dilatation what we call aortic sinus. This dilatation what we call aortic sinus. Aortic sinus of Valsalva. What is it? Aortic sinus of Valsalva. Valsalva. Aortic sinus of Valsalva. Clear? So that is about interior of left ventricle also. Left atrium and left ventricle. Clear? Then what is the difference between the cavity of the right ventricle and cavity of the left ventricle? When you take the section along the cavities, you can observe structure like this. This is right ventricular cavity, and this is left ventricular cavity. This left ventricular cavity is circular and right ventricular cavity is concentric or half moon shaped structure. Why? What is this structure? Interventricular septum. This interventricular septum is bulging towards the right side, towards the right ventricle. That's what this is concentric and this is circular. Clear? So that's it about the interior of heart. After break we will discuss about fibrous skeleton of heart. It is also important short note question. Clear?